few miles from Phoenix is the campus of the Arizona State Teachers College.
Thanks. Thank you. Hey.
The incredible blindness. The stupidity.
Hey, let me guess, you got your thesis back.
Yeah, I got it back. Like a slap in my face. 8 months' work dismissed without even a good reason. Go ahead, read it. It'll hand you a laugh.
Man, did he rake you over?
Well, everything I've written in there is valid. I know it'll work.
Yeah, well, you just stick to your guns.
I'll make him eat his words.
A student's thesis. How to commit the perfect murder. The stories that shock a nation, move them, make them laugh, begin here. Like this one. Paul Stewart is my name. Going out on a limb is a well-known exercise in newspaper circles. The trick comes in trying to keep the limb from breaking. Reporter Gene McLean of the Phoenix, Arizona Republic learned this the hard way. But in learning, also uncovered one of the city's most bizarre crimes. By adding together two seemingly unrelated facts, he found a chilling, senseless murder. In this story, I portray reporter Gene McLean. They're ready. They're rolling. The presses are rolling on Deadline. Saturday afternoon late, the Ford agency in downtown Phoenix. Buying a new car is always an exciting experience, especially when you're a young fellow in college.
Think it's worth a demo?
Sure. He's interested in the car right enough.
I don't know. College kids.
Are you kidding? They eat convertibles. I'll take him out, let him see how she rides. This is no year to be passing up potential customers.
Okay, take the red and white job.
Do me a favor, Phil. Call my wife and say I'll be late.
Oh, sure, Tom. Say it's almost 5 o'clock. You keep the car out until Monday morning. I want to close up.
Good enough. I'll give Perez a lift on my way home.
Okay.
All set? I'll take her out for a spin.
Well, the other salesman said we should wait for him. He's going to wash up.
Well, if you don't mind.
No, not at all. I have all the time in the world.
Here we are.
Fact 1. Late Saturday afternoon, two salesmen took a prospective customer for a demonstration ride. Fact 2. Sunday morning, early. In 1939, Ford was discovered abandoned on the outskirts of Phoenix. The ignition key was missing. So were the license plates. The car had been there since the day before. Monday morning. A routine Monday morning for reporter Gene McLean, until scanning the missing persons reports, an item caught his eye. Mike? Got a minute?
Sure. Unless it's a beef.
No beef. I think I ran across something queer.
Yeah? What's that?
Well, missing persons in yesterday's log. There are a couple of items here that could tie up.
I didn't notice anything.
Well, here. An abandoned car with its license plates missing. And a report on two men missing, car salesmen. And both of the cars are Fords.
You went by me. What's one to do with the other?
I don't know. Don't you think it's funny?
No.
Well, an old Ford, running order. Trooper Matthew investigated and drove it here. It was abandoned on Saturday, the same day the two men disappeared, and maybe it could be tied up.
How?
Well, now that you ask, I don't know. Sounds nutty. Well, forget it.
You don't know Tom Franklin, do you?
No.
Well, he shows up in the missing persons report periodically. His wife usually thinks something terrible's happened to him. I wish I had a buck for every bender he's been on.
Does he usually go off alone?
No, not always. Anyway, we usually carry him for a couple of days. Once he didn't show up for 3 weeks. His wife didn't bother to tell us he'd come home.
The life of Riley, huh? The customer that drove off with him, no missing report on him.
No, he probably went home.
Yeah, I don't know. These things sort of just pop up into your head.
Well, it happens to me, too. But in this case, I just remember that Tom's 6'2", weighs 220 pounds, ex-state trooper, drunk or sober, he can take care of himself and anybody he's with.
Thanks, Gotcha.
I'll see you, Gene.
But Gene McLean couldn't rid himself of the thought there might be a connection between the two facts. Without telling anyone, he copied the motor number of the abandoned car from the report at headquarters and began telephoning. By lunchtime, he'd located the man who sold it.
Oh, here it is. Clayman. Harold Clayman.
Is that C-L-A-Y-M-A-N?
Yeah. I remember him, all right.
Well, tell me about him.
Well, he came in that morning real early. Asked to see a 1939 Ford.
He especially asked for a 39 car.
Yeah, 1939 Ford. Come to think of it, he wouldn't even look at any other.
That's funny.
Didn't even want to test drive it. Just saw it and bought it. Can't think why he'd want to dump it, though. Was old, but had a lot of mileage left. I wouldn't sell a man a bad car.
I'm sure you would. What was he like, this guy?
Oh, medium height, good looking, blonde.
How old would you say?
19, 20. One of those wiseacre types, you know, with a fistful of dough from the old man. Sort of the college boy type.
The boy had insisted on a 1939 Ford, had bought it without testing it. And about the description of the customer that Tom Franklin drove off with, you told the police he was about 25?
About that, I guess. I really didn't get a good look at him.
Could you say that he was younger? Say 19 or 20?
I guess so. I didn't pay much attention to him. I didn't look like he was going to buy.
Why?
He looked like one of those college kids. They come in every once in a while. Wishful thinking, I guess.
You say he was a college kid?
Hmm. I've been a little worried. Tom, now, he's done this before. Then I got to thinking.
About what?
Perez. Perez doesn't drink.
Well, go on.
Well, that's it.
Have you talked to Mike Goucher about this?
Yes, right after I found out that the two descriptions tally.
Well, let's say they're similar. What did Mike think of it?
Well, he was polite.
In other words, the police don't buy your theory.
That's right.
Neither do I.
It's more than a theory. Nobody asks for a specific car, buys it, and abandons it in the same day unless there's a reason.
Like what?
Like wanting a registration. It's been done before. Look. 1939, the old car.
So?
Well, don't you see? With one stroke, look what happens. You've got a registration for a new car, 1959. Stolen.
The whole thing's too far out. Still theory. Might have print a story like that and call it news that's asking for trouble.
Well, let's not call it news. Let me do a speculative piece.
I don't know, Gene.
It's all here. I talked to Perez's boss. He says Perez doesn't drink. What are you waiting for? Their bodies to turn up?
Betty, tell McLean to come back in here.
There isn't a single fact in here, nothing but a bunch of hoped-up questions. What is it? No, send her right in. You're about to meet truth and responsibility in one package. I hope you can take it.
Mr. Goucher?
Come in, ma'am. I'm Mike Goucher. This is Mr. Gene McLean with the Republic.
How do you do?
Mrs. Perez. Won't you sit down, ma'am?
Mr. Goucher,
This is the man who wrote the article, Mrs. Perez.
is it true?
Well, there seems to be a reasonable...
Please. You must speak simply. You must not be afraid to tell me. What are you keeping from me? Why don't you speak? He's dead. My Johnny is dead.
Now, Mrs. Perez, there's no reason to believe that anything's happened to your husband.
But the story,
We have your husband's name on the missing persons list. I'm sure he'll turn up soon. Goucher. Where? I'll be there in 15 minutes.
I've tried not to worry. He wouldn't stay away without calling. What should I do?
You go home, Mrs. Perez. I'll have one of my deputies drive you.
He will come home, won't he?
I'll be in touch, Mrs. Perez.
What's the matter?
They found them. Out in the desert. Shot through the back of the head.
All three of them?
Tom Franklin and Perez. There's no sign of the car or the man who was with them.
Claimant. Claimant.
All right, operator. I'm holding. Now, why don't you try the Los Angeles operator? Let her find it. Yes, dear, this is an official call.
You think the motel has a record?
Oh, I don't even think, period. You were this guy Clayman. You were buying an old car for a registration. Would you give a real address? Hello? Yeah? This is the sheriff's office, Maricopa County, Arizona. Do you have a Harold Clayman registered? Yeah, C-L-A-Y. Yeah, I'll hold. I think we've drawn a blank.
This thing is weird, isn't it?
Hello? I see. Now, look. How far back do you keep your records? Well, would you look up and see if you've ever had a Harold Clayman registered?
What happens if this thing fizzles?
Well, I have an 8-state bulletin with his description and the license plates. Hello? It's C-L-A-Y-M-A-N. Harold. When? I see. What's your name, sir? Well, thank you, Mr. Scotty.
We're in.
There was a Harold Clayman in Los Angeles 4 months ago.
Any forwarding address?
Yeah, unless it's a phony.
Where?
5 miles from here in Tempe. Arizona State Teachers College.
State Teachers College at Tempe. Not a likely place for a murderer. But then, this wasn't an ordinary murder.
Okay, fine.
Mike. Look.
Freeze!
Hey, what's going on?
You Harold Clayman?
Yeah, I'm Harold Clayman. What do you want?
Sheriff's office.
What do you want with me?
Close the door. Now turn around, palms against the wall, and lean.
Hey, come on, what is this, some kind of a gag? Hey, did Jack set this up?
Yeah. It's about as funny as this.
Well, what's that?
Basic steps. Step 1. Boldness is preferable to care in planning. Care is all important in execution. Are these the blueprints claiming? Did you build that double murder from these?
Murder? Hey, wait a minute. That isn't even mine. Look, I don't even take criminology.
Were you in Los Angeles 4 months ago?
No.
You didn't buy a 1939 Ford?
No, I got a Chevy, a new Chevy.
Who wrote this, son?
My roommate, Jack Bartley.
Then why is your name on it?
I don't believe it.
Pack your toothbrush, son. We'll straighten this out in town. You got a picture of your roommate?
Yeah.
Well, bring it along. Well?
There's no doubt about it. That's the man.
Thanks, Hank. Appreciate your help.
Perez's were going to have a baby. The doctor said she's going to lose it.
They both picked Bartley as claimant. He was our boy.
No, now look, you're making a terrible mistake. Jack wasn't even in Phoenix on Saturday. Well, yeah, he wrote that, but it was for his class.
A term paper on how to get away with murder?
Well, so what? I wrote a history paper on Robespierre. That doesn't mean I started the French Revolution.
Where was Bartley on Saturday?
Portland. Well, that's where he's from. He got a phone call Saturday saying his father was sick. As a matter of fact, he didn't even get back to school till Monday.
Well, this is Wednesday. Where's he today, son?
I don't know.
We're chasing soap bubbles. The kid's sitting in Mexico somewhere laughing up a storm, thinking how smart he is.
This is a frightening document. The tone of superiority is unbelievable. Reminds me of Mein Kampf. Everything in black and white, his whole plan.
Yeah, Betty. Are you sure? Okay, send him in. Oh, and call Mike Goucher right away. He's here.
What?
Which one of you is in charge?
I am.
Well, I'm here to demand you print a public retraction of all allegations and innuendo connecting me with that crime.
Now, just a moment.
No, now you just a moment. I'm going to have my father institute suit against this filthy sheet for libel. I'm going to sue the pants off you.
It's a nice story, Bartley, but you left out a couple of parts.
I left out nothing.
Think back. I'm talking about a description of how you killed two men.
You're absurd.
Don't make me lose my temper, kid. Sit down. Sit down before I knock you through the floor. All right, you can start from the beginning. Why did you want to buy that old car?
My father was ill. I was going to drive home.
You specifically asked for a 39 Ford. Why?
Because I like a 39 Ford. It was a good year.
And after you drove it away, you just decided to abandon it.
I didn't just decide. It quit on me.
You're lying.
I know all about how your deputy drove it in. But I'm no mechanic. I couldn't get it to start after it stalled.
What about the license plates?
When I left the car, the plates were still on it.
Go on.
I passed the Ford agency. I got the idea that maybe I could buy one on time.
To drive home?
when we were driving around the big guy. What's his name? Well, anyway, he said I'd need more than I had as a down payment.
You didn't know that before.
They let me out in front of the college, and the last I saw, they were heading back for Phoenix. I packed and I took the bus to Portland.
And that's the truth.
Call my father if you like. I see you did call.
You arrived on Sunday. It's Saturday I'm interested in.
I'm sure you are, but since I can't help you, I'm advising you to let me go.
This may come as a surprise to you, Junior, but I'm holding you.
You can't.
Book him. Suspicion of murder. I'll sign him in myself.
You won't be so sure of yourself when you're sued for false arrest.
Just a second, Junior. We found the car.
Sir?
The 59 Ford, right where you left it in the garage for a 1,000-mile checkup.
You must be joking. I've already told you several times I left that car on Saturday afternoon, and that was the last I saw of it.
The plates on the car were your plates. The plates from the 39 Ford. Your prints were found on the steering wheels of both cars.
Your logic is as foolish as your case against me. When I left the old heap, the plates were still on it. Obviously, someone stole them.
And put them on a 59 Ford, huh?
It is hardly my problem to explain that coincidence. And the fingerprints, gentlemen. It's a well-known fact that if you drive a car in demonstration, your prints will be on the wheel of the car you drive.
Get him out of here. It's all there. He did it. But it doesn't tie together. There's no motive, no provable motive. Except for stealing her car.
Did you read this?
The professor's comments, yeah.
Read it again. Read it now.
What are you driving at?
You think this could be the motive?
Only if he's crazy.
You want to try it?
I want him.
Bartley, we were wrong about you.
Well,
You were right. You didn't want to steal a car.
of course I didn't.
Car theft wasn't your motive.
There was no motive. I told you that all along.
Your primary motive, or intent, from the beginning was murder.
You're crazy.
Now, you're the one that's unbalanced, Bartley. It's all there, right in your paper. The whole unbelievable scheme.
That was for class.
The only thing missing was the motive. And there it is.
I don't have to listen to that.
You wanted to prove your professor wrong and prove that you were right.
No such thing.
Here's what your professor had to say about your thesis. Your ridiculous theories are not only untenable, they are contemptible. Your plan is too incompetent to take seriously. It is a pity you have wasted your time and mine on childish nonsense. There is no perfect murder.
You're cruel. You're very cruel. There's no need to be that cruel.
You killed twice. Brutally, without compunction. To prove a thesis.
Oh, please. I'm innocent. I'm innocent.
They always are.
If it's true that among newspaper men, going out on a limb is a familiar exercise, at least they know what they're doing. A reporter is faced with reality, both grim and pleasant, every day of his working life. But the Jack Bartleys of this world are out on the flimsiest of limbs, their own egos. Byline, Gene McLean. Deadline, Phoenix.